The TeraDrive again. I can't stop uploading videos about this thing. It is a beautiful machine. What we're doing today is Windows 3.11. I have managed to shrink it down to one floppy disk, so that's pretty exciting. So I'll show you how it goes. As you can see at the moment, I've got two floppy disks ready to load. One is the Windows boot disk, which operates very similar to the Windows 3.00A disk. In fact, almost exactly the same, except that it's Windows 3.11. So it's managed to get on one disk. I've put all the applications on the second disk. Half of them don't work. There's not much RAM available. Windows 3.11 seems to require a fair deal more RAM than Windows 3.0. So unfortunately I've had to, again, work within the limitations of the TeraDrive with its 2.5 megabyte RAM limit, which is unfortunate. But I have no option. I mean, I could go and buy a new PC, but that's not on the cards. So this whole process takes a fair while. But someone's got to document it. So it's created the RAM disk as it usually does, and now it's decompressing using PK Unzip Junior, and that's going to go ahead and decompress all the 700 odd kilobyte zip file to about 1.5 megabytes of data on the RAM drive that's just been created. So this takes a while. It's all trial and error. I managed to get Windows 3.11 seems to be a little bit fussy. Now I should note at this point that it is not Windows 3.11 Windows for Workgroups. It is just Windows 3.11, which is an upgrade to Windows 3.1. Again, not Windows for Workgroups. Windows for Workgroups 3.11 seems to be a bit of a different beast, and it requires a 386 from what I've been able to come across. Plus it also loads unnecessary things like network drivers, which, I'll be honest, I don't really need in this because I can barely run the Solitaire. Solitaire, if you want your TeraDrive to run Solitaire, look, go over, get Windows 3.00A. Solitaire loads straight into the RAM disk. It's perfect. Sadly, Windows 3.11, you're stuck loading everything onto a floppy, or off a floppy. And Windows 3.11 also runs out of memory quite quickly, I noticed. Free memory tended to hang around the 290 kilobyte area, whereas Windows 3.00 was, what was it? It was about 400. So not as much free space to roam as one would have previously liked. Also, I had to give up a bit of the RAM drive, which is why my applications reside on the other disk, because it wanted some of my extended memory. At first I said, you know what? I'm not giving you any extended memory. But it turns out you have to give it something. Apparently the requirements are 256K of extended memory. So I didn't give it 250K to begin with. That's a lot of RAM disk, because anything it uses out of extended comes off the RAM disk, which isn't cool. So I ended up going with 64 kilobytes of free extended memory, and Windows 3.11 loads. It is not fast, it is blisteringly slow. But I guess what do you expect? Kind of pushing the technology to its limits here. This TeraDrive was never meant to run much more than DOS 4 or DOS 5, PC DOS. with maybe a front end by Amstrad. I think it was a Counterpoint. Not a bad looking front end. I haven't actually loaded it yet because I don't... What am I talking about? Amstrad's the other computer. This is the TeraDrive, not the Mega PC. Actually, I would be surprised if it... I wouldn't be surprised if that ran a lot better. Huh. Nah. I'm not interested in that. I've been working on, just while it's still loading, I'll just keep blethering on. Been working on getting a controller card for this. I picked up just a cheapie off eBay. It managed to read, or at least access, the floppy drive off the controller ISA card, but no, it didn't work. It just couldn't read it properly. So I've purchased a promise card from the UK, hoping that'll solve some of my problems. It's got a BIOS built into the card, so fingers crossed it might actually do something more than not access things. So we're still inflating. We're up to win.com, so it's getting there. WinFile. So I put on WinFile and Program Manager. You can't operate a lot of things from Program Manager though, because there's not a lot of things there. Whereas WinFile, you can access whatever you put into the floppy drives. This bootable disk though should also work with anything that doesn't have a hard drive. 286 or newer, as long as you've got at least 2.5 megabytes of RAM. If you've got more, that's good. You can adjust your RAM disk, give yourself a bit more room. Okay, I think we're done. Type Win to begin. Just remove the floppy disks. Both are out at the moment. Microsoft Windows version 3.1 with the update to 3.11, which it doesn't say on that screen. Program Manager. So you've got Control Panel, File Manager, we're on to File Manager. Everything's a manager on this. It's good. So there it is. Detects it as a RAM disk, so it's just as good as Windows 3.0.0a. But as you can see, there's not really too much on here I can do. Microsoft Windows Program Manager version 3.11. 295 kilobytes of free memory. System resources 86% free. So there you go. I did put Control Panel on here because I wanted to be able to change things. While you can't save your settings yet, I haven't bothered to implement that. You can definitely change it to some cool things with I don't have any patterns for the desktop, no screensavers, no wallpapers. I don't really have much on here. It's got fast Alt-Tab switching though. Go back to, oh there we go, that was fast. I've got the groups here, but the games aren't there and the applications aren't there. However, if we pop in disk 2, head into File Manager, look at all those things I can run now. Solitaire, let's load that up. Wonder what the card backs are going to look like. Could be anything. Could be a robot, could be some fish. Oh, flowery vine things. As you can see, it's quite slow. Double clicking a card, everything seems to need access to the floppy drive. Oh wow, that's slow. So if you're a professional solitaire player, I would not recommend this system. I would recommend Windows 3. Oh, I can't do anything, this game's terrible. And there you have it, that's the demo. Not too shabby. Now it wants the disc back. Wants command.com. We've got about 150 kilobytes free on the RAM disk, so I could free that up for conventional extended memory. But I don't feel like it. So at the moment I've got 64 kilobytes of extended XMS, 612K of conventional. And there you have it. That is Windows 3.11 running on the Sega TeraDrive. Hope you enjoyed my video. For more you can head over to retrojunkie.net, junkie with an IE. And you can have a look at some of the articles and things that I've put up regarding this and other cool things. Thanks for watching.